Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies, starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
She did a great job, the way she danced and the way she kind of acted clumsy.
Think you know everything about True Lies, the adrenaline-fueled blockbuster packed with explosive stunts and sharp humor? Think again. Beneath the surface of this action classic lies a web of secrets, scandals, and behind-the-scenes drama that rivals the film itself. From serious injuries on set to heated debates over character portrayals, the off-camera story is wilder than you'd ever imagine. And yes, there's that unforgettable scene with Jamie Lee Curtis that had jaws dropping. Buckle up as we dive into the untold truths of True Lies. Jamie's sexy dance, death-defying stunts, and a jet with a hefty price tag. Stunts. One of the most unforgettable scenes in True Lies features Jamie Lee Curtis performing a sultry dance for Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays her husband in the film. While the scene became instantly iconic for its boldness and chemistry, many fans don't realize that something entirely unplanned happened during filming. As Curtis performed the dance, she accidentally slipped and fell off the bedpost, but instead of halting the take, director James Cameron loved the spontaneity and kept in the final cut. That moment of real surprise only added to the scene's authenticity. But this wasn't the only surprising or daring moment involving Jamie Lee Curtis during the making of True Lies. One of the film's most intense action sequences involved her character dangling from a helicopter high above the ocean. Though the scene was incredibly dangerous and could have easily been performed by a professional stunt double, Curtis insisted on doing it herself. Known for her fearless attitude and dedication to her roles, she felt strongly about performing the stunt personally. When director James Cameron suggested using a double for safety, Curtis pushed back. She asked Cameron where he'd be during the shoot, and he explained that he would be hanging from a helicopter door to film her close-up. Inspired by his commitment, Curtis declared that if the director was willing to risk it, she would too. She even decided to complete the stunt on her 36th birthday as a symbolic challenge to herself. For weeks, Curtis trained rigorously, preparing both mentally and physically for the demanding task ahead. When the moment arrived, she showed incredible composure. As the helicopter flew at speeds of up to 70 miles per hour, lifting her into the sky, Curtis remained calm and focused, maintaining perfect posture and form despite the intense pressure and danger. Her bravery turned the scene into one of the most memorable action moments in the film and in her career. True Lies also has its share of comedic gold, thanks largely to Tom Arnold's role as Albert Gibson, the wisecracking sidekick to Schwarzenegger's Harry Tasker. But one of the film's most memorable lines wasn't in the script. It came straight from Arnold's personal life. In a scene where Gibson confides in Tasker about his own rocky marriage, he delivers a hilarious line. She even took the ice cube trays from the freezer. The audience loved it, but few knew that this joke was pulled from real life. At the time of filming, Tom Arnold was going through a messy and very public divorce from comedian Roseanne Barr. He had jokingly told director James Cameron that Barr had taken everything in the split, including the ice cube trays. Cameron thought the line perfectly fit Gibson's bitter yet funny character and told Arnold to use it in the film. The result was a moment that struck a perfect balance between humor and heartbreak, highlighting how even the smallest losses in a divorce can feel monumental. When it came to authenticity, James Cameron spared no expense. Determined to add a layer of realism that CGI couldn't replicate, he rented actual military aircraft for the film. Specifically, 3 Marine Harrier fighter jets from the U.S. government. This bold move came at a staggering price. Just 1 hour of flight time for each jet cost approximately $2,410, and the total rental cost reached a jaw-dropping $100,000. But the breathtaking aerial footage that Cameron captured justified the price, giving the film a thrilling, cinematic edge that visual effect alone could never match. And finally, there's a character of Spencer Trilby, played by legendary actor Charlton Heston. With his commanding presence and eye patch, Trilby drew clear inspiration from Marvel Comics' Nick Fury. Like Fury, he led a covert government agency tasked with taking down international threats. His organization, Omega Sector, bore a strong resemblance to Marvel's SHIELD and Strike teams, complete with elite operatives and secret missions. It's a subtle nod that added depth to Heston's character and gave the film an added comic book flair. Tango triumphs and unscripted laughs. Arnold Schwarzenegger is well known for his action-packed roles filled with gunfire, explosions, and hand-to-hand combat. But in True Lies, he faced a completely different challenge, learning the tango. In one standout scene, Schwarzenegger's character, Harry Tasker, dances a smooth, romantic tango with his on-screen wife Helen, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. While audiences may have marveled at the chemistry and grace on display, what they didn't see was the intense preparation behind the scenes. For Schwarzenegger, mastering the tango was no small task. Determined to pull off the scene with credibility, Schwarzenegger committed to a grueling 6-month training program. He studied under seasoned dance instructors, practicing tirelessly to perfect each step, pivot, and posture. He even drew inspiration from Al Pacino's unforgettable performance in Scent of a Woman, aiming to capture a similar elegance and charm on the dance floor. Although it was a far cry from his typical shootouts and stunts, Schwarzenegger embraced the challenge with his signature discipline and intensity. The result was a performance that showed a whole new side of the action star, confident, poised, and surprisingly graceful. But that wasn't the only scene in True Lies that held deeper meaning or had hidden layers. One deleted scene, involving Grenade, offered additional insight into a pivotal moment in the film. Originally, the storyline included a tense sequence in which Juno Skinner, the antagonist, places a live grenade between Helen Tasker's legs during a kidnapping. The scene was designed to crank up the suspense, with Skinner taunting Helen and telling her not to move or the grenade would detonate. Helen, keeping her cool, makes a biting remark about Skinner's experience with things between the legs. The payoff for this scene came later when Helen escapes and passes the grenade to Harry, who cleverly uses her diamond earring to rearm it. He later throws the grenade at the terrorists in a climactic showdown. Unfortunately, this entire sequence was cut from the final film for pacing reasons. As a result, Harry's sudden access to a grenade in the movie can seem a bit random, lacking context that made it so clever and ironic. Had the scene remained, it would have not only deepened Helen's character, but also provided a brilliant connection between the couple in the heat of battle. Director James Cameron's attention to detail and commitment to storytelling didn't stop with action and suspense. He was also the force behind the film's humor. While True Lies is packed with thrilling sequences, it's also known for its sharp, unexpected comedy. What's lesser known is that Cameron wasn't satisfied with the original screenplay's humor. After reviewing the jokes written by others, he decided to rewrite all the comedic elements himself. Despite being known for serious sci-fi films like Aliens and Terminator 2, Cameron proved he had a great sense of humor. He tailored the jokes to better suit the tone of the film and the dynamics between characters. In fact, only 2 jokes from the original script made it into the final cut. One of them was Schwarzenegger's now famous line, "You're fired," which he delivers just before launching a missile with a villain strapped to it. Much of the film's humor, especially the witty banter between Harry and his sidekick, Albert Gibson, was created by Cameron or improvised by the actors on set. This bold move turned True Lies into more than just an action film. It became a smart, funny, and memorable ride. One of the key elements that made the humor work was the casting of Tom Arnold as Albert Gibson. However, getting Arnold into the film was a battle in itself. At the time, 20th Century Fox executives were hesitant to hire him due to his highly publicized and messy divorce from comedian Roseanne Barr. The scandal had made him tabloid fodder, and the studio feared his reputation might harm the film's image. Still, James Cameron saw potential in Arnold. He believed Arnold's comedic timing and improvisational skills would be the perfect foil to Schwarzenegger's straight-laced secret agent. Cameron fought hard for his choice, even threatening to walk away from the project if Arnold wasn't cast. Faced with the risk of losing their top director, the studio relented, and it turned out to be the right decision. Arnold's performance brought heart and humor to the film, and his chemistry with Schwarzenegger was undeniable. His role as Gibson provided comic relief that balanced out the film's darker and more intense moments. In hindsight, denying Arnold the role would have been a huge misstep. However, not everything behind the scenes of True Lies was lighthearted or uplifting. Years after the film's release, Eliza Dushku, who played Harry and Helen's daughter Dana, came forward with serious allegations regarding her treatment on set. At just 12 years old, Dushku claimed she was subjected to inappropriate comments and behavior from a stunt coordinator. According to her, she was approached with sexually suggestive remarks that left her feeling uncomfortable and unsafe. Her family was outraged and pursued legal action, demanding that the studio be held accountable. But that wasn't the only troubling incident. Dushku also alleged that she suffered a physical injury during a stunt gone wrong. While filming a complex scene, she was thrown into the air by a rig meant to keep her safe. Instead of landing smoothly, she collided with a nearby platform and injured her ribs. The accident, she said, was due to negligence on the part of the crew. Her claims cast a shadow over what was once considered a near-perfect production and sparked important conversations about the safety and protection of child actors in Hollywood. In the years since, Dushku has largely stepped away from the public eye, but her revelations continue to impact the way people view True Lies. What was once seen as a flawless mix of action, romance, and comedy now has a blemish that serves as a reminder of the industry's past failures. Despite the controversy, True Lies remains a landmark film. From Schwarzenegger's unexpected turn as a dancer to behind-the-scenes battles over casting and content, the movie is packed with stories as compelling as the film itself. Whether it's the dedication to authenticity, the bold comedic rewrites, or the cautionary tales of what can go wrong on set, True Lies is more than just an action film. It's a fascinating chapter in Hollywood history. The fall, the near-death experience, and derailing the sequel. Now, back to that sexy scene we hinted at the start of the video. While Curtis was dancing and taking off her clothes, leaving nothing to the viewers and Schwarzenegger's imaginations, she slipped and fell to the floor. At first, people thought it wasn't planned. It just happened while they were filming. But Curtis revealed later that it was actually planned. Although, she didn't want to have to fall more than twice while wearing heels, because she said she could easily twist her ankle. After she fell, she kept her cool and continued to dance like nothing happened. Schwarzenegger's character, Harry Tasker, looked surprised when she fell, but then he also played along and got back into the scene. His real brief surprise made the scene even funnier. Instead of redoing the scene, the director, James Cameron, decided to keep it in the movie. He thought that Curtis and Schwarzenegger's genuine reactions made the scene even better. So, in the end, they left the footage as it was. The film's themes of explosive action and terrorism suddenly became too sensitive in the aftermath of the national tragedy. Both director James Cameron and star Arnold Schwarzenegger were eager to reunite for True Lies 2, intending to continue the story of spy Harry Tasker and his wife Helen into the late 90s. Over the years, the creative team worked hard on crafting a script that not only matched but exceeded the audacious set pieces of the original. It's unfortunate that the planned sequel had the potential to be another blockbuster hit, but the cancellation left fans disappointed. As the events unfolded and people grew more afraid of extremism, it became clear that making an action movie about terrorism wasn't a good idea anymore. Even though it could have raked in a lot of money for them, James Cameron realized it would seem very insensitive and offensive to treat such a serious topic lightly. In the early 2000s, people were scared to do literally anything, even flying on planes. A sequel where Harry fights Middle Eastern villains just didn't fit with the general public's emotions. The funny parts that were supposed to balance out the action in True Lies now seemed like they were ignoring the reality of things and what was happening outside the screen's fourth wall.